Welcome to Lucas Tyndale Live. Sorry for the delay. Thank you guys for being here. If you're watching this by replay, thank you for joining the show. If you're coming into the studio, into our virtual studio, while we're socially distant, today's a great day to be here with us. We have a comedian with us today who's going to bring us some laughs. We're going to talk about comedy. We're going to talk about what makes him laugh and what should make you laugh. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to ask for your opinions on who you think the funniest comedian is, what makes you laugh, and we're going to just have some fun today. Again, for those of you who are watching live, we started a little bit behind time, but hey, we got started. We're here. We want to welcome you to the show, and we want to give people a chance to come into the room and come into the broadcast and get started with us. So we're going to get some things rolling. As you guys know, we're using a new software, so we are testing out some things. So, it comes with the territory. Once you're in the room with us, please let us know that you're here. We are live. It is happening. Some of you guys have been waiting, and we're so grateful that you guys hung in there with us and that you guys are back and that you guys are here with us live. So say something in the comments. Once you're here with us, share this broadcast. Hit those hearts. Hit those laughs. Let Facebook know. Let Facebook know, not Instagram. Let Facebook know. Let LinkedIn know. Let Periscope know. Let them all know how much you're enjoying this broadcast, and that's going to help them spread it to more people. So please take a minute and do that as we continue to test out our new technology. Again, I want to welcome you guys. I had people texting me saying, where you at? People were ready for Lucas Live right at 7. We came in here a little bit late, but hey, we are here now, and my guest is in studio ready to get started with us. So we're going to have some fun today. I could see some people jumping in, giving some love. I see some hearts coming some places. I'm clicking around a little bit, just trying to see who's joining the broadcast. Okay, I don't know why. I see some comments on Facebook, but the comments aren't showing in my stream. Why not? I don't know. That's just how things go sometimes. But we're going to figure that out too, and we're going to make it work. But I see the love. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys. I see it. Loving the background of the hoodie. Thanks, babe. I see you. I had to see it on my phone. I'm going to get this started. Let me slide over on my computer here and figure out why I'm not seeing. Oh, there's the comments. There they go. They came in. All of a sudden, the comments are here. Damon, glad to have you. Thank you. And Hagen, thank you for being here. My man, Jesse Brown, a funny dude himself. He's going to be on the show with me one day. Thank you for joining the show today. Jasha, thank you for being here. So glad to have you. Thank you for joining us there on YouTube. We really appreciate that. Cassandra Elise Brooks in the house. Thank you for being here. Jason Stout, Mr. Jason, thank you for being here today. Sybil, glad to have you. Thank you for joining the broadcast. We're going to have some fun today. Joining us from LinkedIn. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, live, all at the same time. And yes, our broadcast started a few minutes late today, so we're going to give you a few more minutes. If you guys hang with us, we'll make sure you guys get all you came for today. We're going to have fun today. Thank you for being here. Toriano, appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Show some love. Share the broadcast. If you share the broadcast, it shows up on your page like you're hosting this. Now, be careful. Don't do a watch party. Don't do a watch party. Why not, right? Okay, so here's what a watch party does. I mean, I'm not mad at you if you do a watch party, especially if you're watching by replay. Do a watch party. If you're watching by replay, do a watch party and engage with the people when they come in and watch it, okay? But if you're watching live and you do a watch party, I won't get to see those comments, and I won't be able to bring them into the broadcast, and we won't be able to shout those people out. So you want to share it so that those people can actually, be a part of the conversation, and their comments can be featured on the show. So you just want to hit share to my page, boom, and they're in there, and then they come in with all of us, and that's what we want. Okay, we want to welcome them to the party. You see, we got a party going on behind me. The people are here ready for a great show. I hope you're ready for a great show. We got a great guest today, and we're excited. Please continue to participate, engage in the comments. Thanks for the compliments on the background. We got to make it happen. We are in the club with our friend comedian Marcus Martin. I'm going to welcome him to the show. I want to thank him for being here with us today, Mr. Marcus Martin. Welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm good, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. We got the frame is a little. You got to drop your head down just like 2 inches. Why is it like that? I don't know. I don't know. It's just the way the frame works on the show. Boom.
Is we good?
Okay. Yeah, you in there. You in there. I think they can see you. I think they can see you. It's all good. So we're so glad to have you guys here. And Marcus, people are on here, man. I can't even tell how many people is in the room. We started late, and people are excited to see you. Again, thank you for being on the show, my man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Marcus, you and I followed your career, mostly in the bushes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't afford to come into no comedy clubs, you know what I'm saying? So, I was outside the parking lot, you know what I'm saying? But I followed your career, and, man, you've had quite a bit of success as a comedian, man. I just want to start the show by talking a little bit about your story, your background. You were telling me about, as a child, when you first saw comedy. Before we get into anything else, I just want people to know where the journey of a comedian even starts. What was that like for you as a kid?
As a kid, it starts with a dream, just like anything else. My very first time watching stand-up, it was Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy. I think it was Delirious and live at the Sunset. But seeing that, it was just like, wow, that's what I want to do. Like,
Right.
That's what I want to do right there, make people laugh. And it was also something that my father did as a kid, just like any kid, especially a boy, he wanted to be like his dad.
Right.
So I knew my father did stand up, and it was just like, okay, it is something like I wanted to do. I always wanted to do as a child.
That's awesome, man. It's crazy because, okay, so most kids, when they're young, their parents is like, stop clowning. Sit down. You think you funny? You better sit down. But your dad was a comedian. Tell us about that.
Right. As far as my mom goes, it went like that.
Okay.
Sit down. What is you doing? It was none of. She wasn't having none of that. Like,
Right.
she really didn't understand. But I would say my father and that whole side understood it, because it was just something that I would say bred in our family, as far as making people laugh, making each other laugh, roasting on each other. Like, it's just something like, you come around my family, you're gonna get talked about.
You're going to get still to this day, right? It's
Still
gonna
to
be
this
a
day, yeah, you're gonna get talked about, but in a good way. Like, we're not trying to embarrass you, but yes, if you come around, you're part of the family and you're part of the jokes.
Okay, right. It's just how it goes. So on your mom's side, more traditional. I mean, so as you got into comedy, what was your mom saying to you? Was she like, oh, you definitely got it? Or was there some like, oh, here you go, trying to be like your dad, I don't know about this? How was that for you and your mom?
She always supported it. She knew. She was like, finally something. You're not gonna get in trouble this time for doing it.
All right.
Like, fine, glad you're doing it. You know what I mean? It was more like, I knew it. I knew
Right.
it would be and something in that field.
Right. So comedy. Go ahead. She could see it in you.
Yeah, she definitely seen a lot in me, more than I seen in myself. Like, just the comments that she had made, she'd say Mr. Hollywood and stuff like that. Even growing up, it was just always, she just kind of knew I would be some type of entertainer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what about your dad? Now, your dad, you said he was a comedian, or he owned comedy clubs, or both. What was that about?
He was both. He was a co-owner of a comedy club in Charleston, South Carolina, and he was a comedian himself. He did it for about, I give it about 5-6 years. He was successful himself, traveling with the likes of like Bruce, opening up for like Earthquake, different people like that. And I guess he just chose another path, as far as, because a lot of people don't look at it as a real job. So he chose, he's a phlebotomist, so he chose that as far as a career.
Wait, so he taking blood and making jokes. Taking blood and making jokes. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So he switched it up. So now your dad was in the comedy business, had a comedy club, was a comedian. Now his son is getting into it. Was he all about it? Because somehow inside of him, he didn't see it as a lifelong career. So how was that for between the two of you? What did he say about it?
He supported it too as well. In the beginning, I was kind of stubborn and wanted to figure out my own path and go about it myself. But, just like anybody, anybody that want to master something, you gotta go to a master first. So I definitely reached out to him and asked a lot of questions. How do I write a joke? If you watch a lot of my beginning YouTube videos, a lot of the jokes is some of the jokes that he gave me or helped me with, as far as comedy.
Interesting. So he was writing jokes up you. So tell us about that. Okay. So one thing you and I talked about. Okay. And I told you we were talking. I'm like, I am a true comedy fan. Okay. I love comedy. I've probably seen more comedy acts than most people. Before people was watching Netflix, I was at Blockbuster. My brother worked at Blockbuster, and he was bringing home all the tapes, all the VHS of all the comedians. So I've seen everybody's everything. My brother's 11 years older than me. Shout out to my brother Jonathan. He was waking me up in the middle of the night. I was too young to be watching it, but he was playing Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor and showing me, like, you got to see this. This is comedy. This is everything. So I grew up with a love for it. But for somebody like yourself, like, getting serious about comedy, getting into the game, what were your friends saying to you when you were like, I'm going to be a comedian? Were they like, oh, you're really funny? Or were they like, man, I'm funnier than you? What was that like?
Oh, my friends was like, what? No, no. Like, comedy? Like, what is you talking? A lot of them didn't believe me. A lot of them were like, you're lying. You're playing around. Because, I'm known for playing around. But I was like, no, I'm serious. Like, I'm about to start doing stand-up. And, yeah, didn't nobody believe in me at first. Didn't nobody believe I would do it. Because my very first show, nobody was there.
Tell us about your first show. No, wait. Your very first show, nobody was there? What? Like, how many people were there? Tell us about your first show. How was that?
It was horrible. It was horrible. I thought I was funny until I got on stage. It's totally different. 5 minutes felt like 5 hours. I was done with my material, I think, within 3.5 minutes. In my head, it's longer.
Right.
It seemed a lot longer. I thought I did a special.
You thought you put out a whole Netflix special, right?
Yeah, but getting on there for 5 minutes, it was like, wow, this is more to it. So when I got off stage, it was a comedian in the crowd. He was like, man, you funny, but, this is how you do it. And that's when I had to respect for it. It's not like, it's part of it. Some of it is part of, like, okay, being around your family and friends and you're funny. That's part of it. But getting on stage, it's an art form. So that's what I learned. Okay, I have to learn the art form of comedy.
That's something else we talked about, and I love that. I love that we was on the phone, till 1 a.m. one day. We was just talking, and I was asking you a bunch of questions about comedy, and I was like, what is the deal? Again, my brother was showing me comedy, and he was teaching me the pieces of it. And he was always like, he always said, work on your timing. If I say something, and my mom, if she go off, that meant my timing was wrong, because if you did it right, she would laugh. So he would always say, work on your timing, and just being funny around the house, right? Because that's a part of the culture, right? And a lot of, inner city homes and stuff, like, being funny is just a part of the culture. So, so for you, as you became serious about it, you learned the craft of being a comedian. One of the things I promised our audience today is that you were going to break down the anatomy of a joke. Now, you did this for me, if you remember, when we talked the other night. You told me there's different parts to it. Most of us are watching comedy thinking, that's funny, that's not, that's funny, that's not, that's really funny. I'm still laughing about that. Tell us a little bit about the pieces, the anatomy of a joke. What are the different pieces that go together to actually crafting a joke and then a whole show?
Okay, the joke, it all starts off with a premise. That's what I think is funny. That's my thought. So, the premise, let's say I'm going to break down one of my jokes of mine. It's about losing weight. That's the premise. Then you have tags. Now, tags is things that support your joke. Like, it's true. This is what makes it true. So, okay, I want to lose weight. A tag that I use is I went to the store and they got the normal. They got 2X. They got extra large. But the clerk was like, no, you need XB. That's a new size. I was like, what do you mean? She was like, extra belly. I was like, oh, okay. So like, that's a tag. That's a tag. And then I would you could usually in one joke, it's called a bit. It's called a bit. You would probably use like 2 or 3 tags, and then you would go to the punchline, and that's more like exaggerated, but also some of the truth. So the
Okay.
punchline for that joke is I said I'm over at my friend's house one day, and her son came up to me, and he like, Marcus, why your stomach so fat? And I'm like, look, dude, it's hereditary. I didn't really know what to say to him. I'm like, look, man,
Hereditary.
it's hereditary. It runs in my family. And he looked at me. He like, you a lie. Don't nobody run in your family.
so putting down. You said there's a problem, and then you had the punchline and you're exaggerating, right? So there's some known. So the problem is something that everybody's kind of familiar with. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's definitely something relatable, something that goes. A lot of my jokes, my material is like come from real life experience too. But at the same time, as a comedian, you have to twist and turn it and maybe exaggerate it a little bit to make it funny.
Okay. So those are the pieces and part. And you said an entire joke is called a bit. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a bit. That would be a bit, and a bit can last anywhere from 5 minutes to it. A bit can even last a minute. It could be a minute anywhere to like maybe 7 minutes, but it'd be about that topic, and then you are moving to the segue. So the segue would be for that joke. As I talk about, my stepson, he like, your stomach fat and don't nobody run your family. So then I go to talk about my stepson. That's the segue, and it kind of like it flows. It's like a flow to it.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, shout out to the 330 stand-up. People are shouting it out. People are excited to have you here. So there are pieces. It's not as easy as it looks, right? Now, Marcus, we know they say that most people at a funeral would rather be in the casket than standing on stage. It is tough to stand in front of people and do anything. How hard is it to stand on stage and people are expecting you to make them laugh? How hard is that?
Very hard. It's very hard. Especially if you talking about black folks. Oh, it's tough. It's tough. And don't let them pay to get in.
Oh,
don't let them, the expectations raises.
Right.
And I tell people, I tell them all the time, I say, don't tell them what I won. Don't tell them no accolades that I did. Because then the expectation raise up even higher. I'm like, don't tell them I won this award, did that. Don't tell them no. Just say from Canton, Ohio. That's right. It.
Halfway homeless from Canton, Ohio. We'll see what he can do. Right? You don't want the expectations up there. That's great. So, and you said black people are harder to be as a crowd. What's that about? Tell us about that.
I would think it's more the what they had to go through to get to the show. As far as I wouldn't even say black. I would just say urban because white people are poor too. But a lot of them that come to the show don't have money, so it's like I'm spending my last. I'm spending this $50 to have a great night. I make sure it's great.
Right. It better be good.
I could something else. So make sure I have a great night and laugh. So I think that's where the expectations come from as far as the urban crowd.
I love it. They expect. I know. Hey, if I go to a show, it better be funny. All right. So I think that's normal. So tell us a little bit about some of the people you've met. So you and I talked about it, man. And there are people who we have been watching on TV, maybe listening to records, listening to CDs, listening to tapes of our whole life. And there's some of these people who you've rubbed shoulders with, you performed in front of. Please drop some names on the show for us. Could you do some names? I know they say it's tacky, but not on Lucas Live. We like to know who you know. Who are some of the people that you've had a chance to perform in front of or meet, some of the comedians we might know?
Linnell, from Cleveland, Kim Whitley. I actually did a show she hosted one time.
Wow.
Let me see. Paul Mooney, Eddie Griffin, D.L. Hughley. I actually did a couple shows with Eddie Griffin, like back to back. Even let me see who else. Red Grant, to name a few. I don't know, like some of the Plastic Cup Boys. I did a show with Naeem Lynn.
Plastic Cup Boys, them is Kevin Hart's boys, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Naeem Lynn.
That's big, man. That's big. So you said some classics, okay? And maybe if people aren't students of the game, they may not understand how historic somebody like a Paul Mooney is. Okay, so tell us about that experience. Were you just in the same club? Were you performing at the same time? Did you talk to him? What was that like?
The experience of how I got to meet him. Shout out to Eric Young. He's a manager. He's Michael Black's manager. But it was through him. During that time, I was hanging with Mr. Young a lot, and he was doing shows with Paul Mooney, and we did a show in Cleveland, and then I actually got the chance to do a show with him in Toledo too, and hang backstage with him. And the same way he act on stage is the same way he act off stage. It like at first he wasn't open to me, and then I started talking about, because at first he was just like, "Who are you? Are you an interviewer? Like, don't talk to me." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But then I said something else, and it made it more relatable. Then he started talking to me, so I was like, "Man, this is dope!" Like, I got to talk to Paul Mooney for 15 minutes backstage. Like, yeah,
wow,
so
that's big. That's big. I mean, that's crazy to be thinking that and to be in the same area as that. And then I saw a video with you and Eddie Griffin. Eddie Griffin, famous for his Michael Jackson performance, maybe one of his. I think he was one of the homeboys in outer space or something. When he had a show for a minute. I don't remember what it was. Was it that? I don't remember. But Malcolm and Eddie. That's what it was, on UPN or something, or WB. One of them channels don't even exist anymore, right? So he was on Malcolm and Eddie. Hilarious comedian, Eddie Griffin. Tell us about your experience with him. I saw a video where he was really showing you a lot of love.
Yeah, that man, to this day, that video still, when I watch it, it still surprises me, because that came from a genuine place. It came from out of nowhere. And if you watch the video, I'm looking at him like, oh, wow, I can't believe he know this about me, you know?
Right.
It made me know I was in the right direction. I was doing the right thing. But the very first time we was in Cleveland, and I remember this is me being so ambitious, especially when I first started. I would jump the gun. So I went up to him, like, it was this guy, Antoine Blackman. He was like, just wait, just hold on. I'm going to get you on stage. I'm going to talk to him myself. But me, I'm like, he right here. So I want to talk to him myself.
Right.
And Eddie Green got so mad. He got so mad. He called Antoine, and it was me, him, and Antoine in like a staircase away from everybody. He pulled us into like a little stair, and he was in my grill for a good 5 minutes, like, yo, you better be funny. This how I feed my kids. And he was like, I don't like giving my time to nobody, so you better be funny. And to me, a lot of people would look at that as pressure, but to me, that's like, I'm like, I am, like, I will. Like,
right.
This is Eddie Griffin.
You're like, I got
I'm
this.
not mad at all.
Right.
Yeah, that's like Michael Jordan yelling at a basketball player, like, you wouldn't be mad. It's Michael Jordan.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Right, I'm glad you. I'm just glad you're talking to me. Right, my fault. Right, I'll never do that again. Man, this is so cool, man. And I want to hear some more stories about some of the people you've met. First, I want to take a second and shout out our sponsor today, Health Matching Account. You guys have heard me talking about it every day. Check out HMA Enroll to Save. Thank you for people who are reaching out about the Health Matching Account. People are interested because people want to take more control over their healthcare expenses. So everybody who's reached out so far, to the people we got calls connecting you tomorrow. Some people, others who want to reach out, inbox me, call me, text me, tell me if you want to know more about Health Matching Account. If you are or know the HR person at your job and or benefits person, and you want to help connect us to your company so we can possibly present it to your company, just know there's a great benefit for you on the other side of that, a huge referral fee that you will get for that. And with times like this, there's nothing like a little extra cash flow. So if you want to find out more about that, make sure you inbox me. Shout out to Health Matching Account. Go to HMA Enroll to Save to learn more about that. Now let's give a shout out to some of the people who have jumped into the show. Everybody who's commenting, please keep commenting, whether you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, or LinkedIn. Thank you guys for being here. I see people who have jumped in from almost every platform, if not all the platforms. You guys are giving hearts, showing love, giving laughs. Thank you guys so much. Shout out again to Sybil for being here today again. Jason, Michael, Curtis, thank you for being in the house. Thanks for your comment. Darlene, man, we appreciate it. Jason Michael Curtis, that's your guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my dude, man. He's a very smart individual. I need to sit down and talk to him, because I know, yeah, I like his music too.
Oh, okay. I thought he owed you some money or something. He was like, I need to catch this brother. He on the live, but he ain't cash at me no money. All right. So, Ebony Acker, thank you so much for being here. Such a loyal follower. Autumn Jones, thank you so much for joining the show. So glad to have you. Mo Carroll, my girl, she said Paul Mooney is unapologetically funny. Ain't that the truth? Unapologetically funny. He don't care. He say what's on his mind, right?
Yeah, definitely. And he told me it was on his mind in the beginning. I'm like, all right. let me come a different way. Let me come a different angle. Let me slide. Yeah, he kind of cussed me out. All right, my bad.
You done had some run-ins, I see.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So, who else? My man Jesse Brown. Oh, Jesse Brown. Hey, Jesse Brown laughing because I brought up Homeboys in Outer Space. Jesse, you was watching Homeboys in Outer Space. I watched both episodes, I think. Homeboys in Outer Space, that was the show for a second. I don't know. I think my dad was watching that in prison. Shout out to my dad. He used to love Homeboys in Outer Space, but, he was in prison. Wasn't nothing else to do. All right, John Peter MC. Glad to have you on the show here. Glad to have you in the audience. We got to have you on the show. I think I'm supposed to be reaching out to you. I will do that. Got to get him on the show. Shout out to John P. You know my man?
John, hey, that's one of my favorites. Man.
Talented dude, right? Super talented, man. I remember Lil John when he was a little dude, man. He was Lil John running around the neighborhood. Now he out here doing big things, man. Proud of that dude.
John, you really know him.
Yeah, man. I know his grandma in them. I did. I was over there I grew up over by his grandma and them. That's how I know him from there around the way. So that's what it is. Yep. We got Patrick, Real Made Music. You got to be able to read to do this show. Real Made Music King. He said Marcus Martin is the GOAT of Ohio comedy right now. Holding it down is the GOAT.
That's my brother, man. Salute, man. Appreciate it.
Okay, out here showing love. Danielle, what's up? Thank you for being here. Marilyn Roberts, so glad to have you. Thanks for the claps. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the crying faces. Jaylene Roberts, my good friend. Now, Marcus, I understand. Jaylene Roberts is somebody I've known forever. Know her kids, know her mom, know all of them. She messaged me today and said that she knows you. How do you know Jaylene?
That's my cousin.
Okay.
That's cousin.
Like when you have somebody on your show, people say that, but you don't really know. I ain't know.
Shout out to my cousin too, man. My family always supported me. I really appreciate my family and love them. At family gatherings, they used to always make me do shows. Always. Come on, get in front of us.
Right. You licking your fingers, you got barbecue sauce, you're like, I'm just trying to eat my food. They need you to perform.
Right.
You right. That
the
guy.
only people I do a show for free.
It's your family, right? They ain't pay nothing.
They the only ones I
They weren't paying nothing for it. So you grew up in Canton, or you were in North Carolina with your dad. Tell us a little bit about that, and then tell us how you started comedy in Canton. You told me about a specific place you used to do some performing here in Canton that helped you kind of get your legs underneath you.
Yeah, I was born here, grew up in Canton. As far as this, South Carolina thing, that's where my father stayed.
Okay.
For the summer, I would go there. And at one point in time, I think my sophomore year, I actually moved there with him for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But how I got started, like I said, it was a dream. It was something I always wanted to do. I remember going to my father and asking him. I think I was probably like 8 at the time. I was like, can I get on stage? And he was like, no. And and that's why, right, as an adult, I wouldn't tell kids no as far as anything when it comes to dreams. I kind of would instruct them and point them in the right direction. Like so many parents inbox me now. I don't even know who the kids are, but they ask me, how can I get started? What can my child do? And that was always what I wanted to do for the city. I first started, because when I first started, it was at the Funny Stop. And like I said, it was something I always wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But as far as Canton, Ohio, there's no real comedy club. There wasn't even a comedian I could go talk to.
Wow.
So that dream just kind of like was in the back of my mind because it wasn't there. There was nowhere I could go. And then I heard of this place called the Funny Stop Comedy Club. It was in Cuyahoga Falls. And when I found that out, that's when I started talking to my friends and telling them, and they like, man, you joking. But that very next week, I was on stage. That's how long I wanted to do it, and that's how serious I was about it.
Man, that's big. That's big. So for you, it was a lifelong dream. You jumped in here. You got at it. Your family was having you perform. Jaylene said they had to make sure you was funny. You jumped in and did it at the family barbecues. So what's it like once you're known as a comedian, right? And people look at you all the time and are like, say something funny. Like, what's that like?
All the time. All the time. They're like, oh, you a comedian? Make me laugh.
Right.
I'm like, all right. You work at Family Dollar, give me some deodorant. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. Because comedy is very unexpected. So if you sitting there expecting a joke, the timing gonna be off. You know?
Right.
It's all about timing, about the unexpected. So it really never works. When people say that, I kind of just do like a stock joke or something.
Okay.
Just real quick.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's got to be tough because I realize in making people laugh is cool, but it's way easier if they're not expecting it. Right.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I clean up the kitchen. Shout out to my wife. I know she watching. When she don't expect it, I'm the man. When I'm supposed to do it, I just better be doing the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no extra credit.
They ain't the same.
Right. They don't. She don't care. She don't care. She don't give me no love. So tell me a little bit more about, for you, meeting these famous people, being on the road. Like, what is that like? Like, are you traveling places? I mean, we got Corona, so I hope you ain't traveling nowhere right now. But what is it like? Like, how do you get to different places? Where are some of the places you've been? What does a life of a comedian look like? There's a parent, like you said, watching now, and their child wants to be a comedian. Help them get some insight into what the life may be like for a comedian.
It's humbling, especially in the beginning. Let's say, for instance, I remember the beginning of this year. This year I've been to Mississippi in the beginning of the year. We went to Indiana, Fort Wayne. Now, a lot of times it depends on the show and how far we would have to go, as far as I would have to go. Mm-hmm. Like I had a show, as far as the places like Miami, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Alabama. I done been in some of the cracks and crevices, some places I never even heard of, like Harrisburg, PA, Farrell, PA. Shout out to Farrell. I love PA too, man. They love me out that way.
Cracks and crevices.
Yeah, the cracks and crevices, places you never heard of. It's like, wow, okay, this is what it's called. The chitlin circuit, yeah, more so.
The stripper circuit? Is that what you said?
No, the chitlin circuit.
Oh, the chitlin circuit. You're on the chitlin circuit.
Yeah. So, the life would be, it just all depends. A lot of times I would maybe fly or drive. I like to drive. Also, I've been to Virginia this year too. So as comedians, it's very humbling. What we would do, I would try to get other comedians with me, and also try to get more shows instead of just that one show. So if I'm going to Alabama, I would try to get a show on the way down or shows on the way up.
Okay.
Just to make more money and make it. We call it a run to make more sense out of it. And a lot of times. The hotels. I remember a promoter. I had a show in Flint, Michigan, and the hotel. It was actually a motel. It looked like a murder scene when I walked in, though. So it's very humbling. Like immediately, I didn't even sleep there. I just went to the front. And was like, just give me my money back. I'm gonna drive.
I'll sleep in the car. I got a car. Yeah, I'm good.
Hey, I slept in the car plenty of times as a comedian
on
the road. I remember. On our way we had a show in New York, and then we had a show like the next day in Philly. Mm-hmm. So we end up leaving that night on our way to Philly, but we got tired. I had to pull over, and we slept I didn't took showers at truck stops. Oh, I didn't slept in some of the dirtiest hotels and slept in the car plenty of times.
Right.
I show the good stuff on Facebook, like anybody else would. So you would think it's glamorous,
right?
But no, a lot. The background of it is I'm really in a motel, and as soon as you open the door, you're outside.
You have to look like Dr. King, like where they killed Dr. You just outside at the motel, standing on the balcony.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Shaking roaches out of your bag before you go home. Yeah. Okay.
It be places like that. Sometimes we get blessed, and it might be a nice room, but the expectations, I'm not a Kevin Hart right now or a Mike Epps right now, but so the expectations, I don't expect much. So I appreciate anything if you can give me you're gonna pay for me, you're gonna pay for my flight, you're gonna pay for my room, and pay for me to perform. Like, that's a blessing.
That's big. That's big. I love it. And so Patrick King said you did a show on a cruise ship. That's major. I remember that. Now tell us a little bit about that. That had to be a little bit better than the Roach Motels, I hope.
Oh yeah. The crew. Like, once again, too, it's a blessing. I really want to thank God for such thing called stand up that because to me it's not really a job, even though I present it as like business wise, but when I get on that stage, it's all about, I'm a professional, but it's still about having fun, and I thank God for that. The cruise was a blessing. It was amazing. People from everywhere. I'm talking about everywhere from the islands to Alaska, California.
Wow.
To make that collective group of people laugh, that's a good thing.
Right.
Because as a comedian, you might be funny in your background as far as like where you from, Cleveland, Canton, or Ohio, but let's go to Dallas, Texas, and see if those jokes can travel there. How does it translate?
That's big.
Do I have to switch it up or say something different? So, like I said, it's an art form to it. And you just pick up on things, the intangibles, as a comedian.
Right. I love it. I think it's important for you to continue to break that down because, one, there are some young aspiring comedians. There's some parents of young aspiring comedians, and there's some old aspiring comedians. There's some people on here still trying to figure out how to go hit the comedy club and try to tell a joke.
We all ain't got to be rappers.
Everybody don't have to rap. Some of y'all can tell some jokes, and it's time they go out there and get started. So what would you tell somebody who's interested in getting started? And is there a too late? Like, is there an age where it's like, bro, you missed that train or what?
No, I don't believe in that. I believe if you believe in yourself, first of all, you really have to have tough skin doing comedy, and you got to believe in yourself, and and believe in God. There's no such thing as too late, but get started. A lot of people ask me all the time, how do I get started? And you can write all you want, but the only way to really get started is to get on stage. That's really the only way to get started. And the advice I got coming up was hit the stage as much as possible. Perform any and everywhere. I done performed in nursing homes, birthday parties, block parties, churches, a little bit barbecues, a little bit everywhere.
Barbershops.
You
did that, right? Shout out to Nate Chester. Did you do the shop? Did you do that? With Nate Chester? Okay.
Shout out to Chester, man. That's my dude.
Yeah.
Chester's Mop Shop.
Yeah.
He's very welcoming too. And that's the thing about comedy. A lot of people is open to it. The churches open their door. A lot of people open their door because people want to laugh. Yeah. And that's a great thing about it.
That's big. Now, this show is about education, motivation, liberation. People say laughter is the best medicine. Help us understand what that means. Motivate us a little bit to know the importance of laughter. We're dealing in a very difficult time right now. It's a lot of craziness going on. We're locked in. There's no comedy club to go to right now. There's no place to go out and hang out with your friends. If comedy is the best medicine, tell us how we can incorporate it into our life.
Why is the best medicine and how can you incorporate it?
Yeah.
Support live comedy. Go support it. It's a lot of people that never been to a real comedy show. Go to the comedy shows. Also, what you said? What was the first part?
If it is the best medicine, how can we incorporate it into our life?
Why is the best medicine? Comedy is it's drama. You know how the faces in theaters, drama and comedy, and that go hand in hand in life. So crying, as far as grieving, that's a good thing. But after you grieve, like they say, cry now or laugh later. But after you grieve, it's the building, the rebuild. So
Mm.
how do you do that? Through the memories, you laughter. You know, if you lose someone, you would look at a picture and like remember, and you would
Yeah.
laugh about it, and it's funny now, and that's how we build. So that's why laughter, I think, is healing, and it's in the Bible too that it's good for the soul.
I love it.
Um, laughing can take pain away.
Yeah.
Can even when it's raining, it still had that glimpse of sunshine coming in,
Yeah.
and and that's so that's the part I have a hard dealing with as a comedian is like because even in bad times, like I'm at my grandma's funeral, but I'm laughing. We supposed to have fun.
Right.
Like I understand sad, but it's hard for me to be sad or be around sad people. Like it's very hard. It's
Interesting.
very hard.
Interesting. I love that. Shout out to my mom, man. You and I talked about it. Thank you for all the love you've shown as well. Losing my mom recently, but man, one of the things that's helped me so much is thinking about how my mom laughed at everything. We were raised laughing at everything. Nothing bad happened that we didn't laugh at, and probably too soon. You know, people are like, too soon? Is it too soon?
Right.
In my house, it was never too soon. Okay, you be in the ICU and somebody laughing about something like in the ICU, can't even spell ICU, stuck in the ICU, right? I mean, that's how our family was. And my mom, I remember I was visiting her when she was sick. She went to the hospital on February 1st. And it was probably a month in or something. And, things wasn't quite going right, man. We didn't expect to lose her at the end of March. But, she was fighting, and I'm like, man. But one day she told me to leave. Me and my dad was there. She was like, man, y'all get out of here. Go get some lunch or something, man. I'm cool. I don't need everybody staring at me. I'm fine. And she looked at me and said, son, I'm not going to go toward the light. Don't even worry about it. I ain't going toward the light. I'm like, how is she joking about dying? And she in the hospital dying in a sense, right? Like, how crazy is that? But that kind of memory helps me every day to know, man, she up there laughing. She in heaven having a great time. If heaven got a comedy club, she in there, right? She up there having a good time. So
I think they do. God got a sense of humor. God definitely has a sense of humor. Yeah,
absolutely.
that's amazing. That is very amazing.
Absolutely. So I love it, laughing at all times. So let's talk about that real quick. When it comes to other people dealing with that, though, right? So here's what happens, right? Like we have a loss or a sadness or something going on in our life, and then people see us laughing or we're laughing and they're still crying. How do you balance that? I mean, what do you do with the fact that, well, hey, I'm just not that guy? How do you help people around you understand that, hey, I'm not sad, but I just choose to be happy?
Right. That's how we cry. In a sense, it takes a lot maybe for me to cry. I rather go through a lot, but in grieving, there's nothing wrong with crying either. You have to grieve, but in a sense, that's how some people grieve through the good times and having fun with it instead of like in New Orleans. Instead, on what do they call it? The first leg on the funeral, it's sad music, but on the way back, they having fun. So that's how I kind of
cool.
look at it. Like it's okay to cry, but let's think about the positive things.
Right.
What they meant, the impact they had while they was here, stuff like that.
That's big. That's big. I love it. I love it. I love it. So for you, comedy is your life. Laughter is your life. Sadness is not a part of it. But you're a parent. You have friendships, relationships. Tell us a little bit more about the guy, the man behind the comedy. Who are you? What's your normal life like? Because you told me that a lot of comedians are the same on and off stage, but you were like, I'm not really the same dude on and off stage. So help me understand, who are you and what's life like off stage?
For me, I'm very quiet. I kind of stay to myself. A lot of people be surprised too when I tell them I'm a comedian. They be like, oh, "You so reserved." I'm like, because I would call myself an observational comedian. I sit back and I observe everything. And I'm just soaking it in.
Right.
I'm soaking it in, and then when I get on stage, oh,
it's on.
You like, wow. I'm like, okay.
That's the same guy. That's the same quiet guy.
Yeah. It then also depends who I'm around. I might be a little bit more open, but for the most part, I'm to myself and quiet.
Right.
I like to read.
Okay.
Spend time with my kids. I love working out too. Really love working out. Yeah, those are things that make me happy off stage.
I love it. So off stage, what's off limits from off stage? What's off limits on stage? Is there anything that you're like, nah, I'm not gonna talk about my kids. Nah, I can't talk about my kids' mom. Nah, I can't. Is there anything off limits?
Nothing. Nothing. As long as it's funny, it gotta be funny.
Okay.
Like you can talk about. Like, hey, I know comedians, they ready to talk about the Kobe thing, but it gotta be funny. You know what I'm saying? As tragic as it was,
wow.
But it still has to be funny. There's really nothing off limits, you know. And that's what I love about comedy because It's so liberating. Even the president has a filter. As a comedian, we have no filter. There's no people mad at Chappelle for the things he said. There's no filter. No filter as a comedian. As long as it's fun, people laugh. As long as it's funny.
Now that's big because Dave Chappelle, who you were just talking about, he talks a lot about cancel culture. He talks about the fact that we live in a cancel culture. They will shut down your shoe deal. They'll take your special off. They'll take you off of TV. They'll blackball you in the industry. It's a cancel culture. All right, Martin Lawrence got kicked off of SNL, off of Saturday Night Live for decades, I think, or something crazy, right? So how do you balance that? Yeah. I mean, if you really want to get to the highest heights, how do you balance that with a cancel culture? And to be honest, some people have done some things that maybe they stuff should have been canceled. I'm not saying it's all bad, but how do you balance being a comedian in such a politically correct culture that we live in right now?
Yeah, right now everybody's so sensitive. It's like, oh, don't say this, don't say that. You balance it by not really. You can't focus on what people say because as a comedian, that's gonna take the talent away. It's gonna take the you're gonna constantly be worried about what other people think. And I learned very early in my career, you can't please everybody.
Okay.
So roll with the people that's messing with you. You know, the ones that's laughing, the people that's, hey man, great show. Them the ones you pay attention to.
Right.
So you get one, and then hopefully you get 10 from there, then 100, then 1,000. But then at the same time, you have those 1,000 that mess with you. It might be a good 300 that's be like, nah, he's not funny.
Right.
I don't like him, and that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine as a comedian because everybody's not gonna like you, and I'm not here to please everyone.
Okay, I love it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is your chance to participate, okay? I got a lot of people on all platforms. I'm seeing people again on LinkedIn. This is funny because we're doing a comedy one. I got more people watching on LinkedIn than I've had on business ones, which is crazy. They must be ready to laugh. It must have been a rough day at work today. So shout out to everybody watching on LinkedIn or watching the replay here on LinkedIn, or if you're watching the replay on any platform, thank you so much. If you're watching the replay, you know what I love? I love when people are watching the replay and they're engaging as though they're watching it live. I love seeing those comments come up. I love seeing you laugh and participate. Don't be afraid to do that. Enjoy it. Join in like you're there live. We see your comments. We see them come through, and we really appreciate it. So make sure you're doing that if you're watching this by replay. If you're watching this now and you got to leave for some reason, don't leave, first of all. But if you do leave, make sure you come back and watch the replay because this is definitely worth checking out. So, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, it is your chance to participate. I want to know from you in the audience, and this is something we've asked on game night a few times, who do you think is the greatest comedian of all times? You get to pick one, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to have Marcus break down the why and why not of maybe your special selection of who you think it is. But now is your chance to throw in the comment, who do you think that, okay, if you give me more than one, I'm not going to even act like you commented. So you have to narrow it down to one person. One person. Who do you think is the funniest of all time? Go. It's your chance to go. All right, I'm seeing some comments coming in. We're going to have Marcus give some insight. You guys to make your comments. Shout out to Tamika. I have a comment. I forgot how much of the screen to Tamika. And then I didn't say anything about Tamika. Tamika said never too late. Tamika is going to be a comedian. I know how funny you are. And I know that you should be a comedian. And I'm going to come to your show. You're going to try. Okay, so I'll be not even try. You're going to succeed. And I will be there. Can't wait for you to go to the comedy club as soon as one opens. We're all coming. Okay, let's go. All right. And right on time, Tamika said the greatest of all times is Marcus Smart. I mean, you know what? She wins the grand prize. You know what? Everybody else with their silly answers. You know what?
I appreciate that.
Right. Okay. Hold on. We're having some sound issues. Hold on. I don't. We're gonna reset our sound here, ladies and gentlemen. People, thank you to my wife.
For a minute there, man. I'm like, wait, my phone.
Oh, was it going crazy? Okay. We're going to see what's happening here. That's what happens when you go live on video. You know, it's not a clear, smooth podcast, but we're working it out. So we'll see what's going on. Okay, she said it's better. It's just technology. I got too much stuff plugged in probably. Yep, I'm trying to even think about what needs to be plugged in and what don't. I'm about to start unplugging stuff to figure this out. So this is really cool. So thank you guys again for your comments. All right, we're gonna get to it. All right, I see them. They're coming in faster than I can catch up with, but I'm seeing some good ones. All right. You gotta give us some commentary now, Marcus. You gotta tell us your thoughts on these people. Let me see. First one we got here. Monique Lane says, shout out to Monique. She says Kevin Hart is the greatest of all time. Marcus, tell us why or why not for Kevin Hart.
I mean, me, you'll never hear me talk bad about no comedian because especially, you know, if you made it to that plateau, you did something right. What made Kevin Hart the greatest is he's like the new Bill Cosby. You know what I'm saying? As far as fans.
Hey, please clarify. Wait.
He's a great storyteller.
The new Bill Cosby, you said you don't talk. Wait, what's that mean? To make sure we're clear on what that means.
In a sense, as far as being a family comedian.
Okay.
Like your kids can watch Kevin Hart.
Right.
You know, as well as they could watch Bill Cosby. It was just that it wasn't nothing vulgar. You wouldn't hear nothing crazy. It wasn't nothing ever sexual, nothing like that. And he always played it safe.
Yep. I love it. I love Kevin Hart. Hilarious. But Marcus, best Kevin Hart special. What would you say is his best special so far?
I had to say seriously funny.
Me too. Yeah. Funny as it was. Seriously. LeBron was there. Shaq was there, right? Yeah. Hilarious. Yeah. Seriously funny. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Kevin Hart's best show. I would absolutely agree. Seriously funny. The cool part was he followed it up and, Laugh at My Pain, I think was after that. Those were still funny because once you set the bar for being that funny, not that he didn't have stuff before that, it's hard to keep that up, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that's when, they say people write his jokes, but that's when, as a comedian, especially when you get to that plateau, you would take in, even comedians now. Like, I remember getting off stage and the comedian was like, hey, you can add this to your joke that'll help you. Stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, you take that advice. Like, definitely. Like, yeah.
So it depends. Is it wrong? Is it wrong? Okay, so rappers notoriously are like, nobody ghostwriting my rhymes. I can do it off the top of the dome. What's it like for a comedian? You guys are taking time crafting stuff. You hear things funny. You hear other people say things funny. Is having someone write your jokes taboo in the comedy game?
It depends. Me, it depends. Me, I wouldn't necessarily. I'll take advice. Yeah. I don't want nobody writing my jokes because it takes away from the creativity. Mm-hmm. I want my creativity to always be there. Now, I would take advice. Now, as comedians, I know comedians get in comedy groups, and they would be like, hey, I got this joke. Help me out with it. Stuff like that. Yeah. Now, the only thing that's wrong in comedy is stealing someone's.
Oh, okay.
No,
stealing somebody's joke. Yeah, I heard some controversy about some comedians on that saying that somebody stole their joke. But anyway, we're not going to go there. Latasha Ellis, Lester Sanders, and I know we're going to see others who said Richard Pryor is the greatest of all time. Tell us what you see when you see Richard Pryor, Marcus.
Why he the greatest? He told the truth. Nothing but the truth. Even if it was embarrassing and it would hurt him, he still told you the truth. Yeah, as a comedian, yeah, being real, telling the truth resonates more than anything.
Wow. That's big. So it's important that we tell the truth. Somebody else said Robin Harris. Sharice Grantham said Robin Harris. Tell us about that. Robin Harris passed, gone too soon.
Yeah, baby. Yes.
Baby's kids. All right, what are your thoughts on Robin Harris?
So, with me, Robin Harris, he was the first comedian to come in the crowd, actually talk about the crowd, but did it in such a a passionate way where you wasn't embarrassed. You laughed at yourself. Like he's talking
Right.
about me, and I'm laughing at it, and
Right.
that's what made him.
And do you see other comedians like? To me, when I see D.L. Hughley, he reminds me of Robin Harris. He reminds me of like he got some of that style. Do you see some of that?
Yeah, definitely. My father taught me this. If you know, every comedian that grew up in like the same area, kind of like sounds the same, or might be like take that same path. And if you ever listen to Robin Harris, his live stand up, D.L. Hughley was the one that introduced him.
He did.
So
Yep.
to me, yeah, D.L. Hughley is like a baby Robin Harris, but D.L. Hughley is more intellectual, so he took it to a different level, I would say.
I like that. I like that. Pointing that out because D.L. Hughley is a very smart, intellectual, politically conscious guy, even in his stand up. And but he will call you out in the crowd. Them first Comic Views back in the day when he was hosting Comic View. Funniest thing in 1 a.m. Up at 1 a.m. trying to catch Comic View, hoping BET don't go off because he used to cut off. So Tyler Thatcher said Cat Williams is pimpin'. Classic. Tell us about that. What are your thoughts on that, Marcus?
Another thing, okay, you got Bill Cosby, Kevin Hart, Cat Williams. I would say is Richard Pryor. He's gonna tell the truth, regardless, and he gonna tell the truth about what's really going on. He took it to another level as far as he didn't also tell the truth about himself. He told the truth about what's going on in life. Like, look, pay attention. This is what they doing.
Yeah.
You know, like wake up. You know, and that's and it kind of it also went against him too. You know, they started messing with him because sometimes you can't say it is a filter because they will come at you for saying certain things. So you got to be careful. Yeah. But at the same time, he's going to tell the truth, and that's what I love about Cat, and that's why he's able to do so many stand-ups and stay relevant after so many years.
I love Cat Williams as well. And we got a lot of comedians from Ohio, right? Isn't Cat Williams, is he from Ohio?
Yeah, he's from Cincinnati. Yeah,
Cincinnati. Steve Harvey. There's some other ones. Yeah.
Steve Harvey's from Cleveland.
Arsenio.
Arsenio's from Cleveland. Whitley's from Cleveland. What we see else? I believe that's about as far as like
big names.
Yeah, big names. And then we got people like Mark Gregory. He's from Dayton. That's Dick Gregory's nephew.
Wow.
Shout out to him. My dude Rob Ward out of Cleveland. He been on Kevin Hart's. He been on Comedy Central. Kevin Hart's. I forget the name of it.
Okay, one of his.
The show where he went to different cities and was showing comedians. I forget the name of it.
Okay.
But yeah. So that's like some local celebrities that people should know. That's
big. That's really cool. So we got a lot of talent in Ohio, and some of y'all are yet undiscovered talent. So you got to get out there. I ain't want to call nobody out. My one dude, man. Maybe I am. My man, Jesse Brown, man. I just feel like that man need to hit a stage somewhere and need to go ahead and do it. I don't know if he's tried it yet, but I know if he do, I need to be there. He got.
It's people like him that have come up to me and encourage me, and it's like, dude, you should be on stage yourself. You know what I mean? Like I see it in you too. Like you're hilarious.
Right. He's just funny, man. He just can't help it. He's just funny, just naturally funny. Yeah, I'd love to shout out to him, Jesse Brown. If you're still on the show, my man, let's go ahead and make that happen. We'll be there with you in the crowd. We'll laugh if nobody else laugh. We'll get you through. We'll get you through that first performance. Taja Ellis said Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence. Shout out to Martin, the original host of Def Jam, I believe. Martin was. Tell us your thoughts on Martin and even his career.
To me personally, it's the blueprint. He was the when I first started off, I was at Hooch's for a while, long time, and I was hosting shows, and I kind of I would study Martin. That's who I studied a lot of my stuff from, because to host Def Jam and that crowd, that New York crowd, it's like him from being from DC too. It's right. Like, okay, what did he to get these people's attention? And even though Canton is smaller, but when you go to a place like Hooch's and you get that certain crowd, it's kind of like that. It's like, you better be funny. Yeah. So I built a kind of like that. That was my like home and my skills, I would say.
Right.
And Martin, as far as Martin, what made him great is his unorthodox style. Like he came at you from all kind of ways, and his career he took it from hosting to this TV show. Like still right now one of the greatest TV shows ever. Like people still watch it, and then to the
Right.
movies. Like so he did, and then he came back and also did shows like the First Amendment that display other comedians. So he put
Right.
other comedians on too. So he always came back and helped people. And I would say his career is probably like the blueprint any comedian would want.
I love it. I love it. Martin, shout out to Martin. Top 2 shows. Okay, Marcus, while we're on Martin, there's a debate in the urban community about the best show of all times, the best black show of all times. The debate is often between Martin and Fresh Prince, okay? 2 shows that I love. I can watch either one of them all day and all night. In your opinion, which show was the greatest black sitcom of all time, Martin or Fresh Prince?
I'm gonna say both. You ain't gonna put me. I'm gonna say both.
Not gonna hit you up out here for everybody.
Right. To me, Fresh Prince was heartfelt. It was that show that showed you that black people we can be other than something else, and we are smart, and they do live in it. We do live in the suburbs. We all don't live in ghettos. So that's what it showed. And then Martin, it showed like from the grind how to get it. Like he was a radio talk show. He stayed in an apartment. And, he had his friends that still loved him. He had a woman that still loved him, even though he didn't have everything that he could give her. And, if you remember, he was, when he was marrying her, he like, I can't give you this, I can't give you that.
Yeah.
But, he was like, I need some flowers, I need this. So
right. I said, Cole, where's the ring? I said, Cole, where's the ring? Right. And he brought it all out. Yep. That was classic. I love it. Yep. So 2 different things, but both very special. I agree, man. If I go on a road trip, I'm playing Fresh Prince or Martin from my phone through the speakers because I don't have to watch the episodes to know everything going on, and that's how I can get from here to anywhere in the country. So shout out to those 2 shows for that. I'm seeing a lot of people, different stuff in the thing. Eddie Murphy, of course. Let us know, Eddie Murphy, Charlie Murphy. I mean, that's a crazy thing that those 2 were brothers, and a lot of people didn't know that. And Eddie Murphy gives his brother Charlie Murphy a lot of credit. Rest in peace, Charlie Murphy. Tell us your thoughts on Eddie Murphy and his career, because, we talked about Martin. Tell us what your thoughts are on Eddie Murphy as a comedian and then throughout his career.
As far as comedy goes, stand-up, like to go, one of the greatest. You could tell he studied and he practiced his craft as far as, paying attention to Red Fox and Richard Pryor's and the greats that was around him. Mm-hmm. And then he took it to the movies, which was like one of the first comedians to play multiple characters. And that was genius within itself, even when he did Saturday Night Live.
Right.
It was like, he was great at stand-up. It was destined for him to be bigger than that as far as the movies, even in 48 Hours, how he can control certain scenes. And it was really all about him, even though he was a co-star.
Right.
So it's good now. I'm glad he's getting back into the stand-up because a lot of them, like even like Chris Tucker, they get so big they forget about where they originally first started.
Right.
So I'm kind of glad now he's getting back into the stand-up.
Oh, me too, man. Shout out to Eddie Murphy. If you guys don't realize, he had a great Comedians in Cars on Netflix with Jerry Seinfeld. So super cool. It was hilarious just watching those 2 talk. And he talked about the fact that he is getting back in the game. We saw him on Saturday Night Live late last year, I think it was, around the holidays. It was so cool to see him back doing all those bits that we all know him for. So, Marcus, we're about at our time, man, but I just want to thank you for bringing some insight, breaking down the anatomy of a joke, helping us understand what is funny, who is funny, how to be funny, man. And again, if you could say something to somebody out there who is an aspiring comedian of any age, help them out one last time with what they should do.
One, go listen to my I got a comedy mixtape on iTunes.
Love that.
Comic Marcus Martin, Spotify. It's on all musical. It's on all musical and streaming platforms. Comic Marcus Martin. Take some insight from there.
I love it.
Right. Study. I study all comedians from white, black, old, young. I watch their DVDs from Ellen DeGeneres to Wanda Sykes. Like, I watch almost every comedian stand up or try to get some insight. Even with the great thing we have now is YouTube. You can even watch Miles Mabley or Pig Meat Markham. Like, you can go all the way back to like the 30s and 40s of it. So and study, learn your craft, become a master of it, but get on stage. Get on stage and perform. Even if they boo you, build a tough skin and get back on stage. I've been booed plenty of times, but the shows I did that was horrible. The shows I did that was horrible is the ones that made me better.
That's big. That's big. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, even on a night where we're talking about comedy, this show is always about education, motivation, liberation. I hope somebody feels set free to go out there and pursue their dream. Don't be afraid, whatever it is, whether it's being a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or being a comedian. And if your kids have aspirations of doing this, don't just shut them down and tell them it's not possible or they can't be that. There are so many famous or even not so famous but very successful comedians. There's people who are performing on shows and on stage. There are people who get the opportunity to be writers for shows. And shout out to people like Dion Cole, who's a hilarious comedian and an amazing writer. A lot of people don't know he's behind the scenes writing for shows and doing other things. So there's a lot of work out there for people who aspire to do it. And there's never anything wrong with making people laugh. You guys know here on Lucas Live, we talk about all kinds of topics from drug addiction to abuse to funny topics and comedy and all these things. And we always try to do it from a perspective where we can always still laugh and always have a good time on the show. So I want to thank you guys so much. For everybody out there, my cousin Danny Williams, I see you on here. People out here saying great show. We appreciate the love. Again, if you stayed with us by replay, thank you so much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you join our inner circle by texting Lucas Live to 31996. Make sure you join that. I keep saying it, and the inner circle people are like, well, when are we going to see the benefit of it? I promise you it's coming, okay? So please make sure you join the inner circle. Tyler, thank you. Daryl, thank you. Daryl Daniel says, what's up, cuz? What's good, cuz? All right, what's up? What's up, my man? What's up? So shout out to everybody who was here today. Thank you guys for being patient with us. We got a little bit of a late start, but we made it happen. Marcus, my man, I got to have you back. If you're ever doing anything, when things open up and you getting back out on the road, I got to have you back to tell us where you're going to be, even if you just pop in for 5 or 10 minutes and let us know what's going on with you, man. We want to be there to support.
I know for sure we're doing another black, you know, they did the black college football comedy show. We're doing another one this year. I believe it's going to be at the Palace again. I talked to the promoter. They doing it again. So that's one thing for sure that the city can look for.
Man, we'll be there. Ladies, when we're getting closer to that, got to have you back on the show. We got to promote. We got to put up the website. We got to tell people where to get tickets. We need to pack it out. They were there at the Palace Theater this past year for the Black College Football Classic. It's coming back to Canton, Ohio. We pray that everything gets back to normal, and so he can be performing in that. You also performed in an online deal real quick recently. I don't know if any more of those are going on, but I saw you. I watched it all. I watched all of your set where you performed virtually. Yeah. So just tell us a little bit about that real quick before we go out.
That was cool. My dude in New York hooked up with me. I was the only comedian from Ohio. The rest of them was from New York, and it was interesting. It was different. You know, as a comedian, I always like to throw myself in different settings and different, you know, situations, just to better myself and challenge myself. So this is my first time. It was something new. Would I do it again? I would like to have maybe 5 or certain people in the audience, to perform for them. But that's how I would like to do it, from now on.
The challenging standpoint. I love it. When we talked about it, you said you did it because it was a challenge. Performing virtually to a camera as a comedian with no laughs, you don't know how people are responding on the other end. Had to be tough, but I love that you challenge yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever you're doing out there, make sure you challenge yourself. Even if it's hard, that's how you're going to get better. Marcus, again, thank you so much to our wonderful live audience, the livest audience anywhere. The Lucas Live audience is where it's at. Thank you guys for being here. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll see you again next time on Lucas Live. Everybody have a great night.